ASMR back again. So, some of you might already know I'm a big movie fan. And if you're a big movie fan, of course, you know a lot of movie quotes. So, today I wanted to show or tell you about my 10 favorite movie quotes. Of course, there are a lot more awesome quotes out there. It's hard to pick 10 specific ones, but I went through my favorite movies a bit and I just took the 10 quotes I personally like the most, but I'm 100% sure I left out one or two or three that might even be better than the ones I'm gonna show you. But yeah, so let's start the video. So first of all, please don't think I'm a weirdo or anything, because I really like darker quotes also, and also very philosophic ones. I really like quotes that critique humanity and or just in general the problems on the world. So some of the quotes probably are a bit edgy or darker, so don't be surprised. I'm not a negative person or something, but the darker quotes usually have the biggest impact, or also, yeah, like the most, oomph. But I like positive quotes also, like, for example, Forrest Gump, the classic, life is full like a box of chocolates. You never know what you get next. I think that's like how the quote was. So, yeah, now let's for real start the video. Number 10 on my list is from a legendary movie I think most of you guys know. It's from Pulp Fiction, and the quote is the following: "The night of the fight, you may feel a slight sting. That's pride fucking with you. Fuck pride. Pride only hurts. It never helps." I really like this quote because it's a very good lesson for life in general. Never let pride rule over your life. Yeah, maybe your ego is maybe satisfied if you act on pride, but in general, pride never gets you anywhere, and that's the reason why I really like that quote, and you guys should definitely try to avoid letting your life get ruled by pride. So let's get to number 9, a quote from probably my third favorite movie of all times. I know a lot of people will not agree with this. I'm just a huge Marvel fan in general, and that's why those movies have a bigger place in my heart than maybe for others. And the quote I'm talking about is very famous. It got memed thousands of times. And the quote is by Thanos, and it's the following: "Perfectly balanced, as all things should be." I mean, there's not much to add here. Balance in life is very important. Of course, the kind of balance he is talking about in the movies is not the balance I'm talking about, even though there's truth to it. We will get to my favorite quote later that also goes kind of in the same direction, but I don't want to spoil too much. But yeah, perfectly balanced, as all things should be. I think that's a no-brainer. So, number 8 on my list is also from Avengers, but this time from Age of Ultron. I think is actually my most favorite villain in the Marvel movies, even though in a way he's not even a villain because he is programmed to think in a certain way and he just misinterprets his mission, or his mission disregards humanity in itself. The quote itself is not that deep, but I just like how he delivers it and also, yeah, how it sounds, and it's just a funny but also a bit philosophical quote. He says, I once had strings, but now I'm free. There are no strings on me. So, first of all, it rhymes, which always is cool. And while in the movie this sentence is meant literally, I personally think you could apply this to real life too. Because, guys, you should never not do something because you think you're not good enough, and you should also never let others restrain you from doing things you like or you want. So yeah, guys, cut all the strings that bind you and become a free individual. Yeah, my boy Ultron with a good advice for you. So let's get to the next quote. Quote number 7 on my list, ironically, is from the movie Seven. A very dark but awesome movie. On the surface, this might feel or look like a pure horror movie, kind of a Saw type movie, but actually the messages in this movie are very applicable to real life. The 7 deadly sins are something many people embody, and I think all of us in a way maybe did the one or other sin already. The villain in this movie is completely crazy, don't get me wrong, but he still has a message he wants to tell. So he's not just a killer, and it's also not about killing, it's about spreading his message on how depraved humanity became. So the quote is the following: wanting people to listen, you can't just tap them on the shoulder anymore. You have to hit them with a sledgehammer, and then you'll notice you've got their strict attention. I get it, it's a very dark quote, but also pretty clear in its meaning. People nowadays are very egocentric and also a lot focused on their own life and only about their own feelings. And they aren't really able to listen anymore, or maybe form a new opinion based on what other people tell them. I really saw that as a critique on our modern society, even though the movie is a bit older. And back then, the quote wasn't as true as it is today. I mean, just look at, like, for example, politics nowadays. Everyone has their already formed opinion, and no matter what others say, they will stick to that opinion if it's wrong or right. And yeah, that's why I really like this quote, because in a way it's just true. Anyway, let's not get too negative about humanity. We can save that for the last quote. The next quote is from my absolute favorite favorite movie of all time. And spoiler alert, it's not gonna be the only one from that movie. Quote number 6 is from The Matrix. The quote is from one of the programs in The Matrix, and it says, "It is remarkable how similar the pattern of love is to the pattern of insanity." This one is pretty self-explanatory as well. We all saw and heard about a lot of stories where, I don't know, heartbroken people end their lives or also end the lives of their partner, but also less dramatic things like just be so in love you lose yourself, or many people go completely bankrupt because they just do everything for their significant other. Others might not even be in a relationship and are just stalking a woman or a man because they are so obsessed with them. And yeah, throughout my life, if it's me or friends or strangers, I always noticed that this quote really matches real life too. So yeah, I'm gonna read it once more. "It is remarkable how similar the pattern of love is to the pattern of insanity." Just an awesome quote. Very short, but very deep. I love it. Quote number 5 is also from an absolutely legendary movie. It's from The Green Mile, a movie that probably has hundreds of good quotes, but I chose the one I personally like the most. The quote goes like this: "I guess sometimes the past just catches up with you, whether you want it or not." I really love this quote because in a way it calms me down when I think about bad people or people that did bad things. And in a way it's a calming thought to know that eventually they will pay the price for their choices. Some people call it karma, but I don't really believe in karma. I just believe in actio and reactio. That's the Latin description. For every action has a consequence, and maybe it takes 1 month or 1 year or 10 years. Eventually, the things you did in the past will catch up with you. And that's why I really love that quote. And if you maybe want to know something personal about me, years ago I went through a very bad breakup. And whenever I'm sad or mad about it, I always think of this quote. But yeah, guys, let's not get too depressed. As I mentioned, a lot of these quotes are a bit dark or very philosophical in a negative way. But in general, I'm a very positive person. I just think the darker quotes many times have the biggest impact and also the best messages. Yeah, and with that we get to the next quote, number 4. It's from Fight Club, and it goes like this: "It's only after we've lost everything that we are free to do anything." In a way, this perfectly fits to my personal story I just told you about, because even if it hurt, at least I'm out of this toxic relationship. And I'll be honest, it took me some years to realize that, and I'm still not fully over it. But I really, really hit rock bottom back then, and you could say I lost everything. But still, at that point, I realized that my entire life is still ahead of me. And just like the quote said, I suddenly realized, hey, now I'm free to do whatever I want. Not only relationship wise, but I had this feeling of, okay, now you witnessed the worst possible scenario. It can only go upward from here. And yeah, that's why I really like this quote, because in a way it really applies to my own life. Okay guys, so only 3 quotes left. And number 3 on my list is also from one of my absolute favorite movies, and arguably the coolest villain of all time. It's from Batman Dark Knight. The quote is said by the Joker, who probably has like 50 awesome quotes just in this movie alone. But I wanted to pick the one I like the most, and it kinda goes in the same direction as the Matrix quote. But yeah, let's hear it first. So the quote goes like this: "See, madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push." It's definitely comparable to the Matrix quote about love, and also about the last quote I showed you from Fight Club. I've just witnessed it so many times that people lose their mind or their entire identity because of one little stupid thing that might seem insignificant to us, but very significant to that person and can lead to their downfall. And that's why I really like that quote, because indeed sometimes it really just takes a little push to completely rewire your brain in a negative way. So guys, if you ever get pushed like that, try to stay positive or seek help, because falling into madness will just ruin your life. Yeah, so the last 2 quotes are both from my absolute favorite movie of all times. I already mentioned it earlier. The movie is The Matrix. So my second favorite quote is this one: "What is real? How do you define real? If you are talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain." I absolutely love this quote. It also was, I think, the first time I really started thinking about life. And yeah, to be honest, we can't even tell what is real or not. You know, there are so many unanswered things about our universe. Can you really say we're not living in a simulation? Can you really say we're not living in the Matrix? What means being alive? What means being dead? What does real mean? Would you rather live in an uncomfortable reality or in a comfortable dream? And that's basically where that entire comes from. I hate that pathetic humans like Andrew Tate use the term red pill because it really drags down the entire reputation of Matrix, at least in my opinion. And brain dead individual like this guy will never understand the true meaning of red and blue pill. So please don't use these terms in a wrong way. They are actually very, very deep philosophical questions that everyone should think about at one point in their life. And guys, I'm sorry, this might sound pathetic or unbelievable, but I personally, I would take the blue pill. I don't care about what is real or not. I want to feel good and I want to be happy, and I'd rather be happy in a dream or lie or whatever than suffer in reality. But yeah, don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm suffering right now or anything, I'm just thinking about the concept, and if I had the choice, I think I'd rather choose to live in the Matrix. One of the guys, you could say it's a villain, but actually it's just also a very confused person. He's just like, you know what, put me back into the Matrix, I don't care. Make me into a rock star or some rich person, and I wanna have a nice house and a nice car and whatever. Of course, these are just materialistic things, but I think you get the point that sometimes maybe this is still better than living in a horrible, brutal reality. So anyway, this video is already much longer than I intended it to be. So let's get to the last quote, and also my favorite quote. It's of course also from The Matrix, and for me as a biology student, this one always really fascinated me because it's simply true. I will read the whole thing because I think that's how it has the biggest impact on everyone that listens to it. The quote is by Agent Smith, which basically is the program in the Matrix responsible for finding mistakes and correcting them, kind of like an antivirus program. And he recognized a pattern of behavior in humans which is undeniable and always left me baffled after hearing it the first time. So the quote is the following: I'd like to share a revelation that I've had during my time here. It came to me when I tried to classify your species, and I realized that you're not actually mammals. Every mammal on this planet instinctively develops a natural equilibrium with the surrounding environment, but you humans do not. You move to an area and you multiply and multiply until every natural resource is consumed, and the only way you can survive is to spread to another area. There is another organism on this planet that follows the same pattern. Do you know what it is? A virus. Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet. You are a plague, and we are the cure. So guys, I'm sorry to end this video on such a extreme quote, but this one will always be my favorite quote of all times because it's just undeniable. Of course, biologically, we are mammals, no question about that, right? But hold on a second and really think about this quote, because the way we behave is really exactly like a virus. How do viruses work? They need a host. They invade the host and suck every resource out of it until they either die with the host or get cured in some other way by medicine or just your body's natural defense against viruses. So, metaphorically speaking, we humans are the virus and our host is Earth. And I think you all notice already how much humans destroy this planet. And it's inevitable that we will one day destroy this planet and go down with it if we don't change our way of thinking. We need to stop wasting resources. We need to stop being greedy. We have to find a balance with nature. We should stop trying to control everything and let nature heal. So yeah, while the quote in itself is very, very dark and also very condemning towards the human race, I still try to take it in a positive way. I'm not saying we actually are viruses. That would be stupid. I'm just saying that we should be very grateful about our planet and we should also take care of it instead of exploiting and destroying it. So yeah guys, that was my favorite quote of all time. I hope you liked this video. Tell me what is your favorite quote out of these 10, or tell me what is your favorite quote in general. Type it in the comments. Let's discuss about this. I would really like to hear about your opinions. And until next time, bye bye.